Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle and this is my Cloak and Dagger Christmas recommendations video for the dining room. I'll put a link to my announcement video in the cards if you have not yet seen the announcement video. And let's just get right into it. So for the dining room, we are recommending books that are a closed circle or a small group of suspects, or that are set at a hotel or dinner party. So I have recommendations for each of those three things. So I'm going to start with recommendations for closed circle mysteries or like a small group of suspects. So a closed circle mystery just means that there is a small group of people who all have a motive to kill. They're all suspects in the murder. And so I'm going to start with The Likeness by Tana French. This is from 2009. This is part of her Dublin Murder Squad series. So these are set in Ireland. And in The Likeness, now this one was interesting when I read it. At first I was like, oh, come on, there is no way that that's possible. But I just got drawn in, and I got sucked into this story because it's a really good story. So you just need to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit at the beginning and then just go with it, and you'll enjoy the story. So the main character is Detective Cassie Maddox, and so she has transferred out of the murder squad and is working for missing persons or something. But she gets called to the scene of a murder because the murder victim looks an awful lot like her. And to make it worse, the ID she has in her pocket is for Lexi Madison, which is an undercover ID that Cassie used years ago when she was undercover at a university. So what is this girl doing with, Cassie's undercover ID, and she looks an awful lot like Cassie? So there are some questions here that need to be answered, including who killed this poor young woman and who is she really? So Cassie goes undercover as Lexi. Lexi has been living in a house with 3 or 4 other students from the university, so she goes undercover as Lexi back into that house and to try and find out who killed this girl and who she really is. And it was so good. So it's definitely closed circle because there are, I think it's 3 or 4 roommates. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Next up is This Side of Murder by Anna Lee Huber from 2017. This is the first in her Verity Kent series, and it takes place in England immediately following World War I. So it's set in 1919. Verity Kent is grieving over the loss of her husband. He died in the war. And she gets invited out to Umbersea Island for an engagement party by a friend of hers. And there are some of the guys on the island knew her husband, and so she goes to Umbersea Island. So this definitely counts as closed circle. You could say actually that this one is an isolated closed circle because it happens on the island. And so there is a small group of people at this engagement party. You can also use this bonus prompt for The Lounge because it is set in 1919 between the wars. You can also use it for The Ballroom because she is going for an engagement party. This is a great series. I really enjoy it. Verity Kent is a really interesting character. There's really interesting stuff about what she did during the war that gets revealed. And yeah, just really interesting mysteries. Next up is The Dead Mountaineers Inn by Boris and Arkady Strugatsky, translated by Josh Billings. This is from 1970, but it was not translated into English until, 2015. So Boris and Arkady Strugatsky are known for their science fiction writing, but they decided that they wanted to try a Agatha Christie type mystery, and this is what we get. So this is translated from the Russian. It is set in Russia, and this was so good. It was different. There's that little bit of science fiction element, not a huge amount, but there's a bit, which is totally expected because that's what they wrote before. And so they write this story that is set at a remote ski chalet, and Inspector Peter Glebsky arrives. He wants to ski and drink and enjoy his holiday. So there's a few people at this remote ski chalet. There is an avalanche and they are all stranded in the ski chalet, and then of course someone gets murdered. And so it definitely counts as closed circle. I would say that this one is an isolated closed circle because they are stuck at the chalet because of the avalanche. Bonus prompt here is for the billiard room because they are skiing. This was great. I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, it was a little bit different. I loved that it was set in Russia. And yeah, it does feel, Agatha Christie-esque, but the authors definitely put their own spin on the story, and yeah, the dead Mountaineers in. All right. One more for closed circle, and that is Death Wore White by Jim Kelly. This is from 2008. Now this one has a great premise. 9 people trapped in a blizzard, 1 brutal murder, 8 suspects who couldn't have done it. So it is definitely a closed circle, but what's interesting here is they are not like trapped in a blizzard in a hotel or a house. They are trapped in their cars, and that's what makes this a little bit different, and I really enjoyed it. So there is a line of, I think, 9 cars that are trapped on the road because of the blizzard. They can't go anywhere. And in one of those cars is D.I. Peter Shaw and D.S. George Valentine, who have been out investigating something or other. I can't remember. Oh, this is in Norfolk in England. And so they are like one of this line of cars. And they find out that Harvey Ellis has been stabbed at the wheel of his truck, but there are no footprints in the snow. And so this is great. I just love the premise of this one. It's different and really interesting. Okay, let's move to mysteries that are set in a hotel. I'm going to recommend A Rule Against Murder by Louise Penny from 2008. This is part of her Armand Gamache series. Armand and his wife go to an isolated inn to celebrate their anniversary. And of course, murder happens. So bonus prompt, I guess you could probably count it for ballroom for a party. It's not really a party there, but they're celebrating their anniversary. So it depends on how much of a stickler you are. But anyway, A Rule Against Murder. Next up is Death at High Tide by Hannah Dennison. This just came out this year, 2020. And this is set in a hotel on an island off the coast of Cornwall. So it definitely counts as a mystery set in a hotel, but it also counts as a closed circle because when death happens, there's only possibly the people who are on the island, and the hotel isn't open to the public at this point, and so it's just the family and the staff members who are on the hotel. So Evie Mead is recently bereaved. Her husband has just died, and she finds out that he owns a crumbling hotel on an island off the coast of Cornwall. So she goes with her sister to check out this hotel, and the the man who believes he owns it, like that it's his family home, he is found dead on the beach at the bottom of a cliff. This one was really good. This one was really interesting. Good characters, really atmospheric in the hotel in Cornwall. So yeah, this one was really fun. And Murder at the Brightwell by Ashley Weaver. This is the first in her Amory Ames series. So this is from 2014. Amory Ames gets invited to a resort in Kent, I believe, on the coast, by her ex-boyfriend. They're there for, I believe, for an engagement party. I can't remember. Anyway, murder happens at the hotel. So bonus prompts, you can use this for the lounge because it is set in 1932. This was a really good mystery. Good characters, good mystery, great setting. Murder at the Brightwell. And then finally for hotels, I Saw Him Die by Andrew Wilson. This came out this year as well. This is 2020. And this is the fourth in his series. So the main character in this series is Agatha Christie, which is awesome. And in this book, she goes with her friend John Davison, who works for intelligence, to a hotel on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. There are just a few people staying at this hotel. It's an estate that has had to be turned into a hotel. And John Davison knows the owner of the hotel. So it is a hotel, but it's also a closed circle mystery. And this owner dies. His nephew, I believe it's his nephew, and his nephew's friend are out shooting, and they find the owner dead. So there is it's a shooting party. So I think you could count it bonus prompts for the billiard room. Also bonus prompts for the lounge because it is set between the wars. I believe it is set in the late 20s, early 30s. And in this one, Andrew Wilson makes good use of Agatha Christie's penchant for using nursery rhymes in her stories. That's a big part of this one as well. And then finally, for the dinner party, so mystery set where there is a dinner party, I want to recommend The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. He wrote this in 1868. And so it is a classic, but I love this book. And so The Moonstone is a diamond, and the book opens with the main character's, oh, I forget her name. I should have checked. It's her birthday party. Anyway, she has come of age, and she gets this diamond for her birthday. And so all of this happens during the dinner party at the very beginning. And so it's a great story. She gets the diamond, and then that very night it is stolen from her room. And so it's not a murder mystery, but it is a mystery of who stole the diamond. So you can also use it for the ballroom because it is a birthday party. And then my Agatha Christie, not my Agatha Christie recommendations yet. I'm still on Dinner Party. They Found Him Dead by Georgette Heyer. She wrote this in 1937, and it opens with a dinner party. It is somebody's birthday, a 60th birthday party. This one was really good. I really enjoyed it. So it's set in a country house. Someone dies, and then someone else dies, and they bring in the detective inspector to investigate. And so this one was really fun. You can also use it. It's a closed circle as well, and you can also use it as a bonus prompt for the ballroom because it is a 60th birthday party. And then A Witness to Murder by Verity Bright. This is the third in her Lady Eleanor, in the Lady Eleanor series. And this came out this year in 2020. And this one, the murder happens at a dinner party. So they're having this dinner party in this house and they serve fudge at the end. And it's kind of like this special recipe by the chef. And one of the guests dies and his fudge has been poisoned. So definitely counts as a dinner party. It also counts bonus prompt for the kitchen because it's poisoned fudge, and for the lounge because it is set in 1920. I really enjoy this series. Lady Eleanor is a great character. She finds out that her uncle dies and she inherits his house and a title, and yeah, so they're just really fun, lighthearted historical mysteries. My Agatha Christie recommendations for the dining room. Death in the Clouds from 1935. I'm recommending this as a closed circle mystery. This is a Hercule Poirot, and the murder happens on an airplane. And Hercule Poirot is one of the passengers. That's what's so great. So technically in this story, he is he is one of the suspects. So there's this great list of characters as well as a plan of the rear car, as they called it, on the airplane. So it is definitely closed circle, and I love this Poirot. I think it is a great Agatha Christie, really interesting story, definitely closed circle. For hotel, a mystery set at a hotel, I want to recommend Evil Under the Sun from 1941. Poirot is holidaying at a hotel off the coast of, now I can't remember, somewhere on the south of England. I should have checked. Lethercombe Bay, oh, Devon and Cornwall. So this is a resort hotel and another great Hercule Poirot. This was written in 1941, and so I say it's close enough to count as a golden age mystery, so you could also use it for the lounge. And then I also want to recommend At Bertram's Hotel from 1965. This is a Marple where she goes to stay at Bertram's Hotel in London where murder happens. And then for dinner party, I want to recommend Lord Edgware Dies from 1933. Bonus prompt, you can use this for the lounge. This one is great, and so this one is not a case of the murder happening at a dinner party, but one of the suspects attending a dinner party becomes an important alibi, an important part of the story. So a dinner party is definitely an important part of this story. Lord Edgware Dies is another great Poirot, and the murderer, and I won't give it away, but the murderer in this one, cold. So yeah, really good. And then finally, Sparkling Cyanide from 1945. In this one, murder does happen at a dinner party that is happening at a restaurant. Yeah, so six guests see Rosemary take a drink of the champagne and then she dies. And then they are, the group meets up again a year later. Is it a year later? To remember her, and the killer strikes again. So those are my recommendations for the dining room. I hope there was something here that piqued your interest that you could maybe find to read for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. And I will see you for my next video soon. Bye.